in blockchain technology. My name is Wika, and I will be your host for today's webinar. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much to everyone to joining our webinar and also for our honorable speakers. We are very keen to see what you will be presenting about, and we can't wait for that. And yes, we finally start. Yeah, we officially start the webinar. Blockchain is one of the most important technological innovations. It holds the promise to change the way we do business. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our speakers, our honorable speakers. First is Mr. Sebastian van der Lans from Wordproof. Hello, Mr. Sebastian. Hello. Okay, so
sorry. Hey, good morning,
yes.
everyone. And good afternoon, depending on where you are.
Yes. So you are right now in Netherlands, right?
Yeah, Amsterdam.
Yeah, good. So yeah, can you explain a little bit about yourself? We already share with everybody about you. Maybe you can also explain a
Yeah,
little
sure.
bit.
So I consider myself a nerd. I work with open source software for over 16 years. And we asked ourselves the question years ago, what if we can make all what if you can simply trust all information on the internet? That's what we built a startup around, a foundation around, with the European Commission involved, with search engines involved. So looking forward to sharing about that in the coming minutes.
Wow, nice. It's very interesting to hear that. Yeah, it's new things for us, for me as well, and maybe for everybody as well. We are very curious about this technology and blockchain and everything. So yeah, we are looking for that, looking forward for that. And also next, I would like to introduce our second speaker, Miss Maria Minarikova from Fetch.AI. Okay. Hello, Miss Maria.
Hello, good morning and good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys today.
Thank you very much also for joining us. Okay, maybe you can explain a little bit about yourself, Maria. Where are you right now, and what are you, what your company do?
Sure.
Yeah.
So at Fetch.AI, we're located in Cambridge, UK, though we do have a global team. We have people all around, Europe, world, working on the project. So we're building decentralized ecosystem or infrastructure that enables actually a combination of AI and the blockchain. So I'll explain that in my presentation, but we're really enabling people to be represented by agents, so software agents that can then act on their behalf. So these are autonomous economic agents that represent devices, IoT devices, machines, enabling machine-to-machine economy. And they can communicate on behalf of their owners and negotiate, transact, and these transactions are then stored on the blockchain. So I'll show you today a few use cases that we have built together ourselves and together also with our partners.
Wow, nice. We're looking forward for that as well. Thank you very much, Ms. Maria Minarikova, for your introductions. And next, I would like to introduce our third speaker, Mr. Johan Verhul, and also Mr. Jan Plaas. Hello.
Hey, can everyone?
Yeah. Hello. Yes. So maybe can you explain a little bit of what you are going to present about?
Of course. So Jan and I will show our Melalie platform, and we will explain how we implement blockchain technology in the platform in order to incentivize the entire community around the platform.
Nice. Yeah, we can't wait to hear that as well. Thank you
All right.
very much for your introductions. Yes, so without further ado, I would like to ask our first speaker, Mr. Sebastian van der Lans, to start.
Yep. Perfect.
Yep.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your
Perfect.
screen.
So,
Thank you.
Vika, thanks for organizing. Jochem, thanks for inviting me, and all people watching. Yeah, very excited to be here. I'll do a short presentation. I'll keep it as short as possible so we keep time for the Q&A. Slides will be shared afterwards. So, I'm the founder of the company Wordproof, the chairman of the Trusted Web Foundation. We won the Blockchains for Social Good competition from the European Commission. So that was 1 million of funding. But more importantly, the recognition by the European Commission that they trust the ID. So that helps with the conversations with search engines, social media. It all started in 2018 when we asked ourselves the question, what if you can simply trust all information on the internet? Because even though the internet has brought us many good things, it has a deep-rooted issue, and it's trust. It's quite obvious that it happened, as trust simply wasn't part of the internet's design. The internet was designed to connect computers with computers. And computers, they do not dream, they do not care about power or self-enrichment, as they have no ego. But we humans, we do. And therefore, today on the internet, we suffer fraud, manipulation, and theft on a daily basis, which echoes back to the real world. So what we say at Wordproof is, to save the world, we need to fix the internet. We simply need to make trust part of the internet's DNA. What is trust? It has two building blocks, in our opinion. It's transparency, so how did information change over time, and accountability, who's the sender of that information. And the funny thing is, many have heard of Bitcoin, of course. The white paper was written in 2008, launched in 2009. But blockchain was invented 30 years and 2 months ago for timestamping information, for proving that you didn't tamper with information, for making information transparent. And that's what we do. We bring that to publishing, to e-commerce, to all information that matters. Government communication, terms and conditions, news. I have a short video, 2-minute video, explaining the core concepts of what we fight for. That's a trustworthy internet. We call it the trusted web, where all information that matters is transparent and has been taken accountability for. Here we go. Hey, this is Sebastian, and I believe that to save the world, we need to fix the internet. And trust must become part of the internet's DNA. And this is what a timestamp does. It brings transparency and accountability to information that matters. From news outlets to legal documents and from e-commerce to social media, timestamping is an open source solution for restoring trust on the internet. This is how it works. Each piece of content has a unique fingerprint, the hash, and that hash is unique for that state of the content. So modify only one small detail and the hash changes completely. By storing this hash in a blockchain transaction, you can forever prove that state of the content at a certain moment in time. To take it one step further, a person or organization can take accountability for its content by connecting an identity to that timestamp. Now sites can choose to show a timestamp certificate so that readers can verify how content changed over time and who exactly published it. See it as bringing every piece of content to a notary at the moment of publishing. And while a notary is slow and expensive, a timestamp is instantaneous and it only costs cents. Through standardization, even search engines and social media can read and verify timestamps right in the language that they understand. The more transparency, the higher content should rank. And the more accountability, the higher content should rank. And as a result of that, freedom of speech no longer automatically means freedom of reach. And so, in a few years from now, if information that matters isn't timestamped, you'll be considered a fraud. Citizens, consumers, policymakers, social media and search engines, they will simply wonder, if you don't timestamp, what are you hiding? So, join the timestamp revolution and let's build the trusted web together. So, that were the core concepts in 2 minutes. How we educate regulators is that firstly, there was the unregulated internet. Then Europe did an attempt to fix the internet with GDPR. The execution wasn't wonderful, but the intention is, it was about building a better internet. You had better data rights, better privacy. It's a bit of, it's not wonderfully executed, but the intention was wonderful. A logical successor of the internet is an internet where all information that reaches the citizens, the consumers, the users, is transparent and accountable. So through timestamping, we reach a trustworthy internet. It's a real life use case. On the left, you see the timestamp certificate as mentioned in the video. If the publisher chooses to, or if the e-commerce or a government party chooses to, they can make the revisions visible. So how did the information change over time? On the bottom, you see it, what's green has been added, what's red has been deleted. Today, almost 3 million articles are timestamped on the blockchain. Over 150 million timestamps or page views are served with a timestamp certificate on it. And yeah, let me quickly show some use cases. On our website, wordproof.com, there's stories written with all the benefits and how it works. 2 out of 3 largest publishers in the Netherlands are timestamping today all their new content automatically on the background. So at the moment of publishing, 1 second later, they are timestamped. And it's for all sorts of reasons. For example, one of the interesting use cases is, as I showed in the video, not only people can verify the timestamp, but also search engines, because we offer the timestamps in the language that they understand, schema.org. Soon we will launch a collaboration with a small search engine. I'm not able to say which one yet, but a small search engine will label the timestamped results in their search engine result page, which is very exciting because most content on the internet will be discovered through social media, will be discovered through search engines. Check out the website for all sorts of use cases. And what we firmly believe is that in a few years from now, if you don't timestamp your information, you'll be considered a fraud. What are you hiding? It's a whole timestamp ecosystem with integrations for Shopify, Drupal, but the biggest publisher the large publisher often use our API. NRC, one of the largest, they did our implementation of timestamping in just under 4 hours. And that's one of the largest websites in the Netherlands. So it's super easy to implement it. Part of the ecosystem are all stakeholders, consumers. They need to demand a trusted internet. We simply deserve it, right? Site owners, they can literally change the world with their website by offering transparency and accountability. We work with search engines and social media to reward transparency and accountability, which will eventually lead to a solution for misinformation, disinformation, fake news. Governments, we expect them, as happened with GDPR, to make timestamping mandatory for at least government information, terms and conditions, and that will automatically flow to all other information like news. And lastly, advertisers. There's a lot of waste in advertising. Through timestamps, you can fight advertising fraud, but also making sure for advertisers that they advertise next to quality content, transparent and accountable content. Vision information, we have the trustedweb.org. Slides will be circulated on every aspect in the slides you can click. There's education on every use case of timestamping. And also we did research on the state of misinformation. Yeah, so if you're interested in that, there will be soon, there will be new research on trust in digital publishing. So yeah, check that out. slides will be circulated. You can click on every aspect of it. And let's stop it here. I always end the presentation with saying, let's build the trusted web together.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Sebastian, for your presentation. It's very interesting to hear because it's very new for, I think, for everybody. Yeah, from your presentation, we can hear that it's transparency and accountability is very important for the rank. And also, it's very great to hear that in 5 years, if we don't timestamp your content, it will be considered as fraud. Okay, so it is very interesting to hear that. So we will go directly to the Q&A sessions because some of our participants or attendees already asked much questions. So first question is from Miss Allen. So,
Yeah.
Mr. Sebastian, what is your business model? Maybe can you answer it live?
Yeah, great question. What we do is on a blockchain, doing a transaction, for example, on Bitcoin, but that's for almost every blockchain, there's a small fee. And at the same time, blockchain is still a bit hard. You have to do the hassle with a blockchain wallet. And what we did is making a we stamp for you service. So for example, for the largest publishers, the first product we launched in 2019 was manually with a blockchain wallet. You had to put your autograph on signing your content. What we did is making a service, that does that for you on the background. And there's kind of plans with, for example, for the NRC, they use 10 to 12,000 timestamps a month. We have plans which provide the amount of timestamps. Most importantly, if you use WordPress, for example, there is a free plan. You can always do it yourself with the manually signing, but there's also for automatically signing a free plan for 10 timestamps per day, per month. So if you are a WordPress user, just install the Wordproof timestamp plugin and you get it up and running in less than 5 minutes. And you can stamp right away, as we think that proving integrity, it shouldn't be a luxury thing. It's really a human right to timestamp your information.
Thank you very much. And also there's another questions from Kalista. What is the difficulty when you first start implementing blockchain technology to your business?
Blockchain is hard. Bitcoin is hard. And one of my co-founders, we have lots of fights. He is really into UX and user experience. And he said, I only want to join your team if the UX team and the design team is as big as the technology team. So it's hard to make blockchain accessible, but I think we managed to do so. For example, the WordPress integration, you can get it started in 5 minutes. The same accounts for the Shopify integration, which we will launch in a few weeks from now. So making it accessible, explain it in a way that people understand. For example, in the short video, maybe we mentioned blockchain 2 times, but on our homepage, for example, it's not about blockchain. It's really about transparency and accountability and making trust part of the internet's DNA. Blockchain is just the technology we use. Hope that makes sense.
Thank you very much. And then there's still some questions. What do you think is a downside of working with blockchain tech?
Short answer, there are no downsides. No, that's the thing is, in some cases, for example, GDPR is about the right to be forgotten, making sure that data that data can be erased. On blockchain, the promise of blockchain is that it's permanent. So once something is on the blockchain, you can't erase it. That's the power of it, but it can be a downside as well. With great power comes great responsibility. How we handle that is just making a fingerprint of the information and put that on the blockchain. So you can always verify without putting the content yourself on the blockchain. So that's the way to mitigate that, to make sure that, yeah, you have the power, but yeah, not the downside.
Okay, thank you very much. I think there's still some questions left. Yeah, this is the same as downside, but also who is more suitable to use Wordproof?
Let's do the NFT one.
Oh, okay. Sebastian, now NFTs are unfagile. How do you think about this? Would Wordproof be sufficient?
Yeah, so NFT, what is an NFT? It's kind of a certificate, a unique, representing a unique piece of information on a blockchain, which you can transfer from one person to the other. I first mentioned NFTs and content. So what we do over, what is it, 1.5 years ago in a presentation. What you can do, some people say, especially when information is indexed in a search engine, it's kind of real estate. Having a website, having information that has a high position in search engines is very valuable, as it leads traffic to your web shop, traffic to your website. Through NFT, you can tell to a search engine who's the real owner of information. And by transferring the NFT from one site to another, you can tell a search engine, hey, now it's the article of this website. So what you can do on a per article base is showing a search engine who's the owner. So it really enables a market in content, but also licensing of content. So newspapers with paywalls. Through NFTs, you can truly represent and bring new business models to publishing. There's one of the podcasts I did, thetrustedweb.org/podcast, where I interviewed the Associated Press, one of the largest press agencies, and we discussed all sorts of content and NFT use cases. I'll share the link in the chat after.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, actually, there's still some questions in the chat. So I'm going to check in the chat as well.
Or keep them for the discussion. Otherwise, the other speakers.
For sure. Yeah, thank you. So
thanks all, and I'll monitor the chat, and yeah, I'll answer something to that.
Yes, okay. We will continue on the discussion later for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Sebastian, for your great presentations. Now we'll follow up with the second speakers, Ms. Maria Minarikova from Fetch.AI. Time and place is yours.
I'm just sharing the presentation now.
Yes.
Hopefully you can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
All right, excellent. So thank you again for the invitation. And so let me just tell you a little bit about what we can do in 10 minutes about how you can combine AI and blockchain together, right? And how we're doing that at Fetch.AI. So today, yeah, just give you an overview of the Fetch, how we're working, what kind of technologies we're working on, and some of the use cases. I'm the business development director at Fetch.AI. We're based in Cambridge, UK. We're also developing some other interesting projects. One of them is Metalex. I'll briefly mention that at the end. And Fetch is also part of the Blockchain for Europe Association, where we're speaking with policymakers and regulators about these interesting technologies that are being developed in the blockchain space, and having that discussion with them. So what is Fetch, right? And how can you really, what are we doing? How can you combine AI and blockchain is usually what people are trying to figure out. And so our mission is really to build infrastructure that is required for science that are the AI, builders to organize complex tasks to benefit individuals, businesses, and organizations. And so what we have developed is this connective layer with an interoperable decentralized network and an open source software tools to give anyone access to the power of AI to carry out complex coordination in today's digital economy. So a lot of words about software agents. So when we talk about AI, we really talk about subset of AI, which deals with multi-agent systems. These agents are software agents that can represent people, devices, IoT devices. For example, there's loads of sensors, billions of sensors that are coming to our world. And they have now, such a high power because of the improvements in technologies that they're able to actually communicate. Right? We can design software that enables these devices to become part of our economy, part of our lives. So the agents are autonomous, so they can represent their owner, and they're goal oriented. So they are out there in the world, in the digital world, representing and trying to achieve an economic goal. They're flexible, they respond dynamically to changes, and they're multi-stakeholder. So when we say Fetch is building infrastructure, and that's really that, there's, you can call it a platform or infrastructure, but it's decentralized because it's combined with the blockchain. So there's no central entity that stores the information about these agents. When we say they're Fetch agents, anybody can have can have their own agents. You can download the SDK, you can adjust these agents, and they stay. The database is stayed with you. They serve your purposes. You can adjust them as you wish. So there's no central entity that directs these agents. They really speak with each other, communicate with each other. Here's a little bit of how that really works in real life. So the agents collect data. There's a vast amount of data that is being produced by sensors that organizations contain. So if you put agents on these data sources or on these services, and allow them to communicate, to find each other and to communicate with each other, you're enabling new economics models, new businesses. So what we have done is we're enabling this coupling. So you can think of the agents as digital twins that can represent you or anything else out there. And we have built this decentralized marketplace where these agents find each other, because you need a place. You need like a Google is searching the web. You need a search for these agents, right? And so we have built what we call open economic framework. We have a simple open economic framework at the moment where these agents register, they find each other, and then they have the AI modules. They can, perform various activities, for example, negotiation activities. And then when they negotiate a certain contract, then the agents can then agree on this, and the agreement is then stored on the blockchain. And also economic transactions then can happen on a blockchain. And so this is, in very short explanation of how you can really combine decentralized AI with the blockchain. I've mentioned what we have developed is agents, agents SDKs. These can be modified. We are also building agent marketplace. So something similar like you have on Apple Store. So Apple Store, people can contribute. They can sell their agents or agent SDKs. They can sell parts. So we're building this agent marketplace where we, there will be some agents that are free, and then others can contribute and can actually, support. So you can, for example, develop interesting algorithms that are used in these agents, and then others can use those, can buy them and use them to develop further their agents. And there's also this search and discovery, and it's on the website. So you can search for these agents. You can find them already. And there's also a new app that I would like to mention here. It was just released. The update was released yesterday, where you can build your own very simple agent, and you can put it on a map, and you can make it, make some small directions for that agent. It's really just to showcase that, because these agents can be very powerful, but that app is just showing just the basics, how you can set up really super easily your own agent. We have partnered with some really interesting companies to develop these technologies and to really build some of these use cases. For example, our German partners at Bosch, and also Festo is another multinational German company that is doing manufacturing. So with Festo, we're building decentralized manufacturing marketplace, for example. But we're working also we're collaborating with universities, with the University of Cambridge here. They're actually the experts on multi-agent systems. So again, that's a concept that has been around for 20, 30 years. But now more and more with the evolution of technology and with the new developments, these multi-agent systems can be actually put in practice and can be actually put in use in the industry. So we have developed several use cases. I'll speak about 2, 3 today. So they are in the mobility space, in the travel space. There's also really interesting, supply chain, because you have multi-stakeholder systems. All these are multi-stakeholder systems where it's not ideal to have one centralized entity, one centralized marketplace like we have Amazon or Booking.com or some of these other aggregators of data and services. So these agents, what they enable is you to have real-time information and the intelligence to analyze it and to make dynamic adjustments. There are several use cases and really nice videos mentioned on our website. So I would encourage you to go to Fetch.AI and to the use cases section. Here are a couple of examples. I want to talk about travel agents quickly. So travel agents are agents that, let's say if you have a hotel, you don't have to go to the aggregators. You can actually set up your hotel as an agent and you can offer the services. And it's super simple. Very easy way to set up a basic agent, and then that gets registered in the search with the search mechanism, and then boom, it's right there. And so we have an app for the users that you can use to find these hotel agents. So what we're trying to do is really decentralize these ecosystems that are currently, governed by some central entities, and these centralized entities take 20-30% of the revenues of the hotels. And the benefits. So why would you want to do that, right? You can say, well, it's already super easy to use, and yes, it's easy to use, but also you're paying much more for the hotel services. The hotel services need to pay this extra fee to be listed on these booking sites. And so by decentralizing, by removing the aggregators, you can save your margins. It's also privacy friendly. So because these agents represent yourself or the hotels directly, there's no middle player that is there that is keeping information about the data. And at the end, your agents, as they develop your the preferences based on your usage, you will get a better personalized value and experience. So another example is mobility. So again, we have built a couple of apps. We call it the delivery of people, pizza, and packages. And so you can think of that as sort of like an Uber. Where instead of going to an aggregator again, you have the ability to be directly represented if you want to sell or send some packages or book a taxi or find a service, for example, like food that you would like to have delivered. All these services can be represented by their own agents in the system, and then you can also track them. You can track the taxis. And it's very easy to use. Again, we're simplifying that because we understand that the user experience is absolutely critical and necessary to make a good product. Again, we have a nice video. We actually tested this. It's even me in the video. So where we show how we're using this these agents in real world. And then there's another third one, another example of these agents and the optimization, the AI, how that can really be beneficial to us. So we have done this project together with our partners Datarella in Germany, in Munich. So it's deployed as a smart city infrastructure solution. And so quickly, so when you go and when you try to park these days, you really go around, you try to find the parking, you don't have any visibility of where the parking places are. That really increases the CO2 consumption and really takes a lot of your time and energy. So what if you could assign agents to the particular parking lots, and you can then assign, different financial incentives, so or dynamic pricing on the parking lots. So for example, if you have a parking lot that is closer to a destination, then you can charge more, you can charge premium. If there's parking lot further away, then you can charge less, and you can incentivize people and direct them to go park a bit further away. And so by optimizing, by using the agent systems, you can have this really good optimization where you have visibility of what is available, what is booked, and you can also help with this dynamic pricing. So the city councils can really help and have this optimized traffic flows. This is really great, for our environment. If it's implemented, there's less negative impact through the saved CO2 emissions. Property owners, they can provide additional parking lots and can participate in this new economy. And definitely, for individual commuters and drivers, this saves time, money, and really reduces the driver's stress. So these are some really cool examples. We have set this up in Munich. It's really simple. All you needed some Raspberry Pi cameras. This was a proof of concept, right? So Raspberry cameras, it was running on our testnet v2. And then they were using our autonomous economic agents. Just one last thing, we also have a different type of combination of AI and blockchain. And what we have developed, so this is not about agents, but this is about how you can provide AI collaboration tools, for example, to scientists, to healthcare providers. And what we wanted to demonstrate here is that the blockchain can be used to decentralize federated learning algorithms so that the benefits of these collective machine learning models are shared across the multiple owners of data. So what we have built is a platform or a system where, for example, different scientific centers can work together. They can work together on developing algorithms, but this is without the actual need to share the data. So what they are sharing, what they're working together on are algorithms and how, for example, I don't know, cancer recognition, or we've done this on COVID. So COVID recognition algorithms on patients with pneumonia. And these hospitals, these research centers can work together, can share the weights of these algorithms and use the consensus mechanisms of blockchains and the trust that is built, in the blockchain, but without the actual sharing of the data, which is critical because there's a lot of private and sensitive data that is, people are not even, or organizations are absolutely not able to share. So instead of sending all these data sets to some centralized place to be evaluated, to be, to understand, whether somebody has a certain type of illness, organizations are actually able to do that privately within their own hospitals or scientific centers. So here's a quick explanation. So a hospital takes data sets, and doctors evaluate these individual X-rays, and they store it privately within their local data servers. And then this database is then used to develop these algorithms. So that's important. So it's done in that hospital. The learning produces a model as an output. So, and then you have new hospitals or new partners who then you want to collaborate with. And then the model is used to, so this model is then, sorry, I'm just trying to move to the next. So then these hospitals and network, so they agree that they're going to collaborate, and then they share these weights among themselves. They vote on the improvement. So they're then using their own data sets to improve the algorithms or to use the algorithms, and they can collaborate. They can evaluate this algorithm, whether it works or it produces better results or not. And they can vote on that. And so this voting goes around, and when the majority approves the improvements in the algorithm, then it's accepted. And again, then you can add new other hospitals to this system. So and then these steps can be repeated as often as needed to also enlarge the data sets that are used then to produce these improved algorithms. So this is really very interesting because when we have been hit by COVID, different scientific institutions and different hospitals had limited data sets. Unlimited data sets, it's difficult to produce really good algorithms. But when you combine the data sets from different parts of the world also to give you variety, to give you really a good diversity of data, then you can really build much better algorithms. So these are some interesting things. If somebody would be interested to collaborate with us, please let us know. We're very open to that. We're currently testing that with some organizations. We would be happy to include more people in that. So just some key dates. We're actually launching our mainnet v2 next week. So we have been working really hard. We will be working this agent marketplace soon after that. We also have a couple of other spin-offs that we are building in the DeFi space. One is a platform that's called Metalex, and that it's going to be launched. The beta is launched on the testnet. We're working with people. You can test it out. There's another DeFi platform called Atomics for lending and borrowing against real world assets, and that's going to be launched a little bit later in the summer. Just quickly, the Metalex, I mentioned that it's something that people can already look at and try to use or start to use. So it's a platform for trading commodity derivatives. So there are no other places in the DeFi space that really allow this exposure to commodities. And so our aim is to bring really this huge market, 20 trillion commodities market on chain, and allow people to get exposure and really build these or work with these derivatives. So it has two main functions. One is liquidity, and one is so yearly yield through lending, and one is trading, so hedging or trading commodity derivatives. We have metalex.com is the website, and there you can find all kinds of information. There's the white paper and also link to the Metalex DEX. And I think I'll leave with that. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Maria, for your great presentations. Yeah, we do have so many questions regarding your presentations. So first we'll start with, is Fetch.AI an open source project, as well as is the algorithm will be open source?
So Fetch.AI is an open source project. You can go to our GitHub. You can download the agent framework. So that's actually the function that allows these agents to communicate. You can also run a node, by the way. We're looking for validators. So if we are onboarding validators for the mainnet v2. So yes, it's open source. What I mentioned is that, we have developed some SDKs, we have developed some demos of these agents, how they can work, but you can, the nice thing is you can actually then go and develop that and adjust that by yourself. So you can improve your algorithms, you can bring, new algorithms that you would like to have in the agents, and that's the beauty of that. So that is really then decentralizing these AI capabilities. The agents learn based on your behavior or their behavior, so they're not affected by some other centralized platform or AI platform that is then directing them. So they're absolutely independent of each other.
Okay, thank you. And next is, what is the difference between an agent and a smart contract?
So a smart contract is a contract that is built on the blockchain. An agent is a software that can represent you. So they're completely independent. What you can do is you can use agent information from the agents on the blockchain in the smart contract, but they're absolutely independent. So there's no what would I say, correlation. So the agents are independent, they can represent people. I can have my agent, my car, so this enables machine-to-machine economy. So my car can have its own agent and can communicate with the parking lot's agent and can book me a parking space. And then this transaction then goes on the blockchain, and it can go to a smart contract that says, that enforces certain agreements.
Okay.
So the next question is, how about the training data? Is it all stored on the blockchain? No, the training data, it's stored with the people. So the data doesn't get stored on the blockchain. So there are certain steps and certain, like it was mentioned before, you take a fingerprint of a transaction, but the data as such, that's, blockchain is not a good place for storing that data. Data needs to be stored off blockchain, and representation, if anything, a representation of the data is then can be stored on the blockchain.
Okay, and next questions, I think it's the same questions. We'll go to the
what kind of blockchain platform is your application running? So we have developed our own platform, our own blockchain platform. Then we have looked and merged it also with the Cosmos blockchain platform with some additional functionality or different functionality that we have built in-house. So that way, there's interoperability within the Cosmos ecosystem, and also, for example, between Cosmos and Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain and some of these other blockchains. So interoperability is a very important key aspect. We will have a blog post about that very soon. To read about how we're dealing with that, because we recognize that you need to have a large ecosystem, and I think that's what we're all trying to build. These different blockchains can have different functionalities, but what is important is to have the ability to include as many ecosystem players and work with as many stakeholders as possible to have really good systems that support us.
The blockchain only store the models. I think it's
so I think you're talking about the AI tools. So the blockchain is mainly used to enable the consensus among these players, right? And there is a smart contract there that stores the information, the sort of like the contract between the players between the organizations or the stakeholders, that says, these are the expectations, this is the kinds of improvements. If we agree on that, then then you're taking that next step. So the model as such is really not stored on the blockchain. There's a lot more technical information that would be needed to explain that. I don't think we have the place, but if you would like much more information, I would be very happy to technical information to put you in touch with our technical team.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think there's another questions. What is the current visible risk of using the agents for the services like travel and delivery?
I'm not sure what you mean by visible risk, right? So I think we're all, using and developing technologies, whether it's blockchain or AI or any of these other technologies that are anything new that you're developing. You need to go through a lot of testing, a lot of verification. So we are doing that. We're working on that. What's currently the risk of using the current platforms is perhaps what I would also suggest to think about. And that is, giving up your private data, giving it to organizations that already have a lot of data about you, that they can then, suggest some advertisements or I don't want to call it manipulate, but really affect the way we perceive information, we're giving information. And also our ability to really find things. If you're using only the centralized search and selling places, marketplaces that are centralized, then when you type in your Amazon search, you will be given results that that platform wants you to see most of the time. So you're not going to the 100th place to see what the results are. Then you're going to look at the first 10 suggestions you get from that platform. So I think we need to look at all of the technologies that are currently available, and we need to evaluate for ourselves what is fit for purpose, what is the best technology for the specific use case. So there's another question: long distance traveling by public service made easy, already tools there. Yes, so we're working on these travel agents. So ideally, what we used to have were travel agents, like actually people, organizations that we went to. This was, I don't know, 20 years ago. And then we went there and they found through their own resources, places for us, what is the best way to fly there? What is the best way? What is the best hotel? So we gave them our requirements, and they came up with these travel plans for us. Now, all that travel information, is already on the website. You can find information about the rail, so the trains, to get you to the airport, to fly you to a certain destination, like Bali, for example, and then to give you all these different options to find a hotel. Now, what we see is that there are so many options that we don't really have time to go through them, through all of these options. And this is why we need machines. This is why we need AI. We need to have an AI agent that goes and finds all these different options for us and comes back and says, well, here are 3 options, because I know that you want to travel to Bali, you want to stay 100 meters from the ocean, and you want to have a patio, or you want to have, I don't know, umbrella on your balcony or something like that, right? So these are customized, personalized recommendations. Then somebody, a person or something, a machine can go through all these different options and can find you and can offer you. And so that's what we're trying to build. These agents that they comb through all this information that's already available online, and they bring you the best options. So you don't have to spend hours online booking, these things, or finding all these different options and then going through them. I spent hours and hours, before when we could travel, booking our flights, booking, the right way to get somewhere. And then what happens when there is a disruption, when, let's say your train doesn't go, then what do you do? Or the flight is delayed, then you need to go somewhere else. So again, then you again need to spend hours trying to find, plan B or C yourself. But all this information is available. So let's teach our machines. Let's have them do that work on our behalf.
Okay, so thank you very much, Miss Maria Minarikova, for your presentations and for all your answers. Yeah, we actually already done all the questions, so I would like to say thank you very much.
Thank you as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to ask our third speaker, Mr. Gielle Paul, to join our presentation.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes. Hello, Mr. Gielle Paul.
And can you see this okay?
Thank you very much. Your time and place is yours.
Wonderful. I'll do my best to make up a little bit of time, huh? So I'm Jelle Pol, co-founder director at Dusk Network. I've been working at Dusk for roughly 3 years. Previously had always had a career in high tech, on the energy side, on the code platform side. Today I'll basically give a very brief intro about Dusk as a company, kind of the journey so far, and I want to highlight 2 use cases to make it come to life a little bit for you guys. And I think I'll basically skip the rest because of time. So what's Dusk? Technology for securities. Securities means financial instruments. So shares, bonds, funds, anything that you can trade that belongs to a company or other investment opportunities. The blockchain is built from the ground up. So it's its own protocol and its own smart contract layer. We had to do it this way to make it compliant, basically, with the goal of making the financial market a fairer, more efficient place. So we see a lot of intermediation and unnecessary costs or access being kept from people in these markets. And we think blockchain offers unique features to help solve some of this. And so the Dusk network is a protocol. The Dusk token is a gas token. Effectively, you can compare it conceptually to Ethereum or Stellar, you name it, but then purpose-built for the financial sector. So what's been roughly the last 30 months? So we did an initial R&D phase, raised our funds, grew the team to roughly 25 people. And the main 2 are that the core blockchain has been finished and the smart contract layer. So we're actually pushing out V1 of the stack in 2.5 weeks. So that's a nice milestone for us. And then this one, what does this mean? Legal frameworks for, a lot of difficult words. So apologize the lingo. I Frankensteined the presentation a bit, but I'll try to simplify. So legal frameworks for digital assets and infrastructure. Effectively, what this means is that when you want to tokenize a share, for example, or a bond, that you want to do this in a standardized way, right? So in Ethereum, you have, for example, very popular standards like ERC20, which I'm sure you all know, or ERC 721, ERC 1404, you name it. So these are all configurations of an Ethereum smart contract. So very popular ways to put the switches and the toggles and the buttons that you can press or flip on an Ethereum smart contract. So that's the same for Dusk. So we have our smart contract standard called XSC. And what we mean by legal frameworks is effectively that we've done the research and made a library of templates, basically, of the main flavors for all these financial instruments. So for example, you can use XSC 1 for 80% basically of the kind of share issuances that you would want to do in the European Union. Same for bonds, same for funds, you name it. So it's basically starter kit. That's the easiest way to say it, and it gives the trust to the first adopters of the network that they can safely use all of this. So what's the next 12 months like? Well, like I said, we're putting out the stack in 2.5 weeks. That's followed by incentivized testnet, so that we'll have all kinds of great community things like node battles, bug bounties, reward programs, you name it, followed by the mainnet. We're pushing a lot of the pilots that we've been doing into production, and I'll touch a bit more on these in a second. Moving towards digitally native marketplaces. So the best way of looking at this is that we have currently the crypto marketplace space where there's all kinds of hot DeFi things going on. So maybe there's Binance or exchanges that are centralized. And then we have Uniswap or Pancake, you name it, that are very much DeFi solutions. So that's one part of the sector. And then on the other end, where we look at traditional finance, we have things like the London Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. And we're basically looking to apply the benefits of the crypto space and combine that with the regulator friendliness or the security of the traditional space, and then merge these into the future of the financial sector again. So how do we use Dusk? One interesting example is Firm24. So they are an online notary platform. And what we've done there is that when a company is newly created on the platform, then on the back end, their shares, so their cap table, is tokenized in the Dusk Network smart contract. This means that without users having to deal with any hassle, they are in a blockchain ecosystem. They have a smart contract, and they can use this for various benefits that basically grow as the company matures. So this means that initially you can maybe make it very easy to raise more funds. So you can sell some shares to maybe a third founder or friends and family, or maybe a seed investor, and make it very, very easy. And you can also do it on the go, which is a huge use case for small companies, right? Then when companies grow a little bit, so maybe they're 5 years old or 10 years old, and there's a bit more interest, you can create what is called an OTC market. So OTC stands for over the counter. So it basically means trading shares, trading financial instruments, one step before you're listed on the stock exchange. So it's not the NASDAQ with the charts and all that stuff. But it's just person to person. So I want to sell some of my shares to someone else. Well, this is currently a very cumbersome and long process. Using blockchain, it becomes a lot easier to facilitate these markets and also to maintain confidentiality, basically. So we see that as a kind of entry point, very logical entry point for businesses to start touching the blockchain space. Second example is a small stock exchange that basically does what I mentioned earlier. So that's MPEX. It's a business that we work with very closely, and they are effectively a stock exchange for small medium enterprises. So it's not big IPOs on the NASDAQ. It's one step below that, where we have good SMEs that are worth something between 25 to 200 million that want to sell some of their shares or make some of their shares tradable, because their community wants it, or their partners want it, or they see it as a great opportunity for fundraising or marketing. And this is a wonderful place to get blockchain benefits, because all of these companies need to do shareholder meetings or pay out dividends, or they have all kinds of things going on. And standardizing that and automating that on a blockchain, that's where a lot of the benefits lie. So with MPEX, we're really looking into tokenizing private equity, so tokenizing shares, and building some of these native private equity marketplaces. The benefits for users are that all the fees are taken out, and because of the privacy on our blockchain, they don't have to reveal their identity when they're entering into these trades, which is the reason in the first place why a lot of the intermediaries are in there, to hide the transacting parties. So MPEX is very much a trading ground. So when you look at the firm 24 one that I just explained, that's where companies start, right? So that's where a new company is captured in a smart contract, and then they grow basically throughout the value chain. They might be able to do a bit of trading, and then a place like MPEX is a place where they could arrive at after a few years. The beauty of that is that if they're already in the Dusk Network ecosystem, then it becomes extremely cheap and efficient to onboard yourself to a stock exchange like this, where you effectively just say, here's my smart contract integrated, and I'm now listed, and you can see everything that happened with my company all the way back to day 0. And then once you become too big for a place like MPEX, you can do the same trick again with a Euronext or a NASDAQ or a London Stock Exchange, saying, hey, here's my smart contract. This is my company all the way back to day 0. And so you can check everything that I'm claiming and make it very, very easy to compliantly scale your business across the European Union, for example, or other regulatory zones. So we're picking pilots, or we're working with partners on every step of the journey for business, or on the other side of the coin for an investor, and making sure that there's logical infrastructure in the right places. So a little bit about Dusk and the journey, and some of the things that we're using it for. So as I was saying, 2.5 weeks from now, we're putting out the first launch of the tech. So we're launching a lot of additional repositories on GitHub into the public, clients, setting up the testnet. And we're also hosting a big conference actually to celebrate it, so that we'll have keynotes by some of our own core developers, but also other projects from the space, both on the crypto side, like Binance, Harmony, Aztec, Anoma, you name it, and also from the traditional side, so advisors from Euronext, Morgan Stanley, Euroclear, MPEX. So that's really something that we're very proud of. That's a big milestone for us. and that will be cool for you guys to have a look at. It's free, it's virtual, so grab a spot and hopefully see you there. And that's 10 minutes on the dot. So I'm leaving it there.
Okay, thank you very much,
See you.
Mr.
A few questions.
Yobo. Yes, we actually have a few questions for you. First is, what about your interesting partnership with MPEX? What can we expect from this in the future?
Yeah, so MPEX is actually also featuring at DuskCon. So we're giving a talk with them. MPEX's goal is to become basically digital SME exchange for the Eurozone. What we are doing is first tokenizing part of their processes and adding actually new products and functionalities to their stock exchange that they will run on the Dusk technology in their own environment. And then later, once this gets traction with regulators and proves itself in the wild, basically, then we can consider actually porting the entire exchange experience onto the blockchain. I see a question also by Jan Taco about OTC. Yeah, it will be more fancy. I can spend a few minutes on it because it's a little bit niche, but effectively how an OTC trade works now in private equity is that I'm a big fund, for example. Let's say I want to buy SpaceX shares. And so I go to some kind of a broker or someone in my network and say, hey, I want these shares. And they will go and try to find them. They might need to talk to another broker because they don't have access. So that what will typically happen is that you have a buyer and a seller, but 1, 2, or 3 brokers in the middle. And the buyer and seller don't want to reveal themselves because maybe I can buy 10 million SpaceX now, but I want 200 million. And if I signal my strategy, then the price will go up and I'm ruining my own market, right? So you want to be kept confidential completely. So that's what these brokers are for. But these brokers also charge a fee, sometimes 2.5%, sometimes 5%. So I might be paying $100 for a share and the seller might be getting 85. So there's a lot of value lost in this process. And the reason why that value is lost is because 1, we sometimes cannot find these shares ourselves. And 2, I don't want to reveal who I am. These are the 2 biggest reasons why a lot of value is lost. What you can do on the blockchain, especially with privacy and in a system like ours that use whitelist, is that you can confidentially communicate with the whitelist, saying, for example, that you're in the market to buy. So this solves the first problem. I can now find a counterparty without spending money and time on a broker. But I can also transact with this person with a confidential transaction, not revealing my own identity. So they also don't need to know who I am. So I also prevent poisoning my own market. So not only is it going to be technologically a lot fancier, where you can do this from a wallet or a web wallet and run this whole process end to end, it also solves the 2 biggest reasons why we have brokers or intermediators in that space, meaning that, well, maybe now you pay 90, but the other guy also gets 90. So both parties are happy. The price is fairer, and the market is basically much more efficient. So the OTC market is one of the markets that will benefit the most by far because it's greatly suited for whatchamacallit, blockchain. Convertibles is the same process. So I see the other question. So whether your financial instrument is a direct share or a convertible bond or loan that can become a share later, benefits very much the same. Especially with a convertible, it's nice to do it on blockchain because you can prove the trust, right? So you can have very specific triggers or contractual agreements that you capture in a smart contract of when conversion can take place. And basically automate the entire process. So it can be any financial instrument. Obviously, from an adoption point of view, we're starting with the core of, let's say, 4 or 5 instruments that make up 80% of the normal SME market. And then as the rollout continues, that will expand.
Okay, thank you very much,
Wonderful.
Mr. Yelpo. Yes, all the questions already been answered, and thank you very much for your great presentation. Good to see your presentations, and we're going to ask our 4th speakers, Mr. Jan Plas and Mr. Johan Verhoel, to begin with the presentations. Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you clearly. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Vikram. Yeah, we will put up the presentation. One moment. Okay, so today we will discuss a platform we've been working on for quite a while, and we are now entering a new phase with the platform. So we've tested it, but it's time to take a new step. We will tell you all about it. It's let's go to the next slide. So in this presentation, we'll give you a quick intro about who we are as a person. We'll share our vision on the market, on how the mobility economy more in general is working. We will do a product demo, and we will explain how we use blockchain technology to incentivize all stakeholders around our project. Yeah, so quickly about me, I'm an entrepreneur originally from the Netherlands, but already living in Indonesia for quite a while. This is also where we have our office. And next to me is Jan.
Hey guys, my name is Jan. I'm the founder of Melalie, and I've been in Asia for over 7 years and here in Indonesia for 4 years. And I will later give you a presentation on the platform.
All right, thanks. Quickly about the companies that we run here in Bali, Indonesia. So we have a team of over 40 professionals. All projects we are working on are somehow in the smart city domain. Of course, it's a bit of a broad term, smart city, but it means that we do a lot of projects in the mobility ecosystem, logistics, blockchain technology. And in the setup that we have at the moment, we've just started. So it's really good to see how in the past year and a half, we managed to grow pretty quickly. But of course, our ambition is also big. So we want to become one of the leading companies here in Asia. Now we will give a quick introduction on Melalie. So the Melalie platform is a peer-to-peer platform. So anyone can submit their vehicles and anyone can rent vehicles from others. So without the need of an intermediary such as Uber, we give people the freedom to take whatever kind of vehicle they want in the city they are at. And by doing so, of course, we empower local entrepreneurs. Instead of working as a big centralized platform, we prefer to work with small vendors and even with consumers. So you can put your own bicycle on the platform and start renting it out. So we launched the platform in Bali. Of course, we are working from here. So from that perspective, it makes sense, but it's also a good product to market fit because usually without COVID, there are a lot of visitors on the island and they are eager to explore the island. So they need some kind of way to do that. So despite being, of course, hit by the pandemic, we managed to grow the platform. We have 400 local vendors and we did over 1,000 bookings on the platform. So with that early traction, we managed to, of course, get all the early bugs out of the system and develop other features that we thought are necessary to further accelerate the growth. So the platform is now ready to scale up, and we will tell you all about how we are going to do that. First, a little bit of the background on why we decided to build Melalie. So there are a lot of societal problems I think we want to address. And the first one is vehicle downtime, because a lot of people own a car, own a bike, own a motorbike, but usually it sits outside of your house or outside of your office doing absolutely nothing. So it's a total waste of energy in many kinds of ways. So if we enable people to easily rent that vehicle from you, with all the right business circumstances in place, of course. We enable you to make money. We enable also small vendors to easily make money. And with that, we give them the power of the platform economy. So meaning that Uber, for example, is a big platform. They have all the advantages of the platform economy. But if we all work together with smaller vendors, we can have the same benefit. And we use blockchain technology to incentivize all the stakeholders, and we will dig into it more deeper. But essentially what we do is we distribute a share of our revenue to token holders, and we have an affiliate model in place. As I discussed, vehicle downtime is one of the problems we want to tackle. And what we see if we look at big rideshare applications, they make a claim that they fight congestion, that with them a city is being better managed in terms of mobility. However, the opposite is true. So if you see where there's a lot of research being done, and you see when big ride-hailing companies are active, the problem actually gets worse because there are more vehicles on the road. And yeah, for me, this is it's personal. Right? So there is I think everyone saw this, right? So there's from the World Economic Forum a statement that in the future you will own nothing and will be happy. But who's saying that I will not own anything, right? And who will then own assets? Who will have the privilege to have means of production? So I don't agree with this statement at all. So I think that individuals and small companies should be enabled to have ownership. We should have the possibility to own a house, own a vehicle, and generate an income with that in some form of and again, Uber is a great example. Before there was Uber, there were taxi companies, and you could start a taxi company, work on that for 10, 20 years, and you had a valuable company. And meanwhile, you were able to make some good money. And that is totally gone. While, of course, Uber also did good things in disrupting the user-friendliness of the market. I think in the end, as a society, we are not better off. So our goal is to bring the power of the platform economy to the masses. So we want to enable smaller companies again to make a fair return. And how these big companies make money is, of course, by lending a lot of money from shareholders and putting their services below the market price, compete everyone out of there, and then society pays the price for it. I will discuss a bit on how we are using blockchain technology. So we have deployed a token, the Melalie token, and what we do is within the ecosystem, we charge a small transaction fee of 5%. And that transaction fee is fully distributed to all the token holders, meaning that the more transactions in our network, the more valuable the token gets, but also the more money you will make on a daily basis. And that money is also transferred to the token holders in the Melalie token. Within the platform, we have developed an affiliate program, and what we would like to do is ask people to connect vendors to the platform. And let's say your neighbor has a small bike rental company. You enable him to put his bike on his bikes on the platform. After that, you will be able to make a fee out of his transactions. And the other way, of course, works as well. So if you promote Melalie and via your link someone will book a motorbike or a car, then you will receive a reward for that booking as well. And what we're working on now is, ideally what we want is that if you own a lot of tokens, you can give a percentage of these tokens to small entrepreneurs to, for example, buy new vehicles, and each time this vehicle is rented out via the platform, you will also receive a reward for that, but that's still in progress. And I will go quickly through this because we also need to go to the exciting part of the product demonstration. But what we want to do in the later stage as well is to enable our token holders to vote and participate in a governance platform. So we follow the principles of a decentralized autonomous organization. And in this scenario, the token holders become more or less the board of the platform. So how does it work? I now give the microphone to Jan. He knows all about the platform.
Thank you, Johan. Indeed, I do, because we developed this with in the beginning quite a small thing. In this page, you see pretty much an application. The application that we built, Melalie, is also available in the App Store. So if you want to have a look, go ahead. In this application, we allow customers to book any vehicle pretty much through the platform. And once a booking is made, vendors who join the platform also are able to accept or reject these orders that they're getting. Within the platform, like you can see on the left side in the image, is that we gave the ability to vendors to pretty much manage their orders here. Within there, we gave them also the possibility to show invoices and keep track of their revenue. The platform is actually pretty much full with features. I'm not going to go through all of them because I don't think we even have the time for that. But it comes from booking management to user management, from managing the affiliates to managing promotions. There is a configurable dashboard, and you can manage your payments and invoicing. That's quite a lot of features available there. I will now quickly show you a small demo. Here we can see the website of Melalie. Anyone who comes to this website is able to rent any bike. In this case, we show bikes. You can show your location, what you want to show. You can select your dates. And once you've found your bike, you are able to make an order through the website or the app. Let me check here. I'll show you this. So here we see a short overview of statistics that we're showing to, well, pretty much vendors, in this case, administrator. Within this system, we also have ability to manage our vendors. So let's say if we take this vendor, which is Go Bike Rental, one of our trusted partners here, you're able to view all the products that they're added to our platform. All these bikes, they're having a QR code that is placed on the bike itself. So once an order is placed, they have to confirm this, that the bike's actually in their position, possession, and then they can accept the order. So if I would be logging in here as a vendor, I could pretty much log in and see here what orders they're managing here. I would be able to see a completed order. So let's say I'm taking here a user. You would see as a vendor here that we are able to see the pricing and the location, and that's pretty interesting. Yeah, so through this platform, there's a lot of features where they're able to go to go through. If we're looking here in our layout here, I'll show you this. What we developed also because we want to incentivize the partners to also join this platform and to increase the amount of users. We give them the ability to have an affiliate link and then obviously add users to this platform. So with every time when a booking has been made, these people, they are commission based on the booking. Right now they are able to like withdraw this amount. They could just give up their bank accounts, say how much money they want to pay out, and it's a very interesting way for them to join this platform to help the growth of this platform. Yeah. So having said that, it's a very wide platform regarding features. Eventually, what is very interesting is that, like Jochem already mentioned, if we're having the affiliates joining our platform and the implementation of the technology behind this, what we're using could be or is very beneficial for the people that want to join this this platform.
Yeah, I guess we can talk for hours about about the platform, but we have limited time. Can we maybe go back to the presentation?
Yes.
Oh, here is. All right. Thanks, Jan, for the elaborate presentation of the platform. So you can download the app if you want. You can also register if you want to start out renting a vehicle. If you want to become an affiliate or a partner, then you have to please send us an email. So, Mika, we are ready for questions.
Yes, we already have 5 questions. 6 right now.
All right.
Okay. So first, thank you very much for the presentation, Mr. Johan and Mr. Jan. So I will start with the first question from John Rogers. Where can I find out more information about Melalie token sale? So.
That person has been looking really good at our website. You have to follow us on our socials. Maybe we will announce something soon.
Okay. And thank you. And the next is, will it be open source?
Good question. As many parts as we can do, we will open source. And I think eventually we have to open source the entire platform, because we have the vision where it's a collective platform where token holders work on the platform and also make the money, right? So then we need to open source everything. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And the next is, when can I make a booking in Utrecht?
In Utrecht. Yeah, very soon, hopefully. So we launched in Bali, and we have full coverage here in Bali. And the next step, the next logical step would be to go to the Netherlands, because of course we understand the market there coming from the Netherlands. So we are looking for people who want to start on the platform in Amsterdam or Utrecht or whatever city. We have to still investigate which city will be best for us to start in. So, but the goal is to do that this year.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, mobility as a service. How about insurances, staff, and so on?
Yeah.
Competitions, lesson learned?
Yeah, insurance is, so let me first, so there are 2 questions then, mobility as a service and the insurance part. Mobility as a service part is an easy question. So with It's Safaris, we already work with a lot of the large players in the Netherlands when it comes to mobility as a service. So for us, it would be a logical step to make the entire Melalie inventory available via our API to these platforms in order for them also to make bookings. So it would be great to connect to the mobility as a service domain as well. The second question regarding insurance, we are working on that, there's a partner we are working with, and we have to still wrap that up. But there are models for that because we're not the only one who is doing this. So, but we need to figure that out. In Bali, we got everything more or less covered. In the Netherlands, we still have to do that.
Okay, thank you. The next question is how the consensus mechanism works in Melalie.
Yeah, good question. So the platform we are now building is working on the Cosmos SDK. So we use the proof of stake consensus algorithm. And we decided to use the Cosmos blockchain because with other projects we are working on with its Safari, we've worked with Cosmos. It's a super, a very robust platform and a great community to work with, and it gives us the possibility to have a lot of control over our own ecosystem, but also the possibility to collaborate with other companies like Fetch, right? Probably they've implemented the Tendermint consensus algorithm, so we can connect with Fetch in some kind of way as well.
Okay, thank you. And the last question is, why did you come up with the idea of a rental marketplace company to be token sales?
Sorry, can you repeat?
How did you come up with the idea of a rental marketplace company to be token sales?
Because the peer-to-peer nature of the platform fits really well with blockchain technology, right? So we enable smaller vendors to organize themselves on a big platform, and our goal is not to squeeze these vendors, make as much money as possible, and enslave these vendors to our platform. No, we have a, sorry?
We empower them.
Yeah, we aim to empower them, and then blockchain technology plays a really good role in building an incentive system for us to do so. We can reward developers who contribute to the open source platform. We can reward investors by distributing a share of revenue. So slowly but surely we can fully give the platform to a community instead of centralized shareholder somewhere in the United States.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Joachim and Mr. Jan, for the great presentations. And I guess we already answered all the questions.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess we are right now, we already spent 1 hour and a half. So we would like to say thank you very much to all of our speakers, for our honorable speakers, for your time and for speaking in innovations in blockchain and technology. And thank you very much also for all of our attendees for attending the webinar and for all of your questions. And within the next few days, we will share a recording session of this event in case you would like to share it with your colleagues or friends who have not been joining us. And our next webinar will be in June this year. So this webinar will be all about mobility as a service. So yeah, thank you again, everyone, and we wish you a great day ahead. I guess
thanks
we can
everyone
say
for joining, and thanks for all our speakers for their great presentations as well. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I guess we would like to end the sessions for today's. So I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Wika.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.